Welcome back. This is our last webinar for the year, and we look forward to presenting a lot of exciting webinars, and we have a good lineup for next year. But for those of you who may not know me, I am Priya. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to present to you the roundup for the whole year. There were a lot of regulatory changes. We thought it would be great to bring to you the key important changes that we felt you should be aware of. And that way, if you've not already acted on those, you know what to put in your pipeline for next year. And I'm excited to have my colleague Apurva Kushare to give you this roundup. She's from our Reg Intel team. For those of you who may not be familiar with RegDesk, we are an AI-powered RIM platform with integrated regulatory intelligence. That's why we bring you all these regulatory updates, and regulatory teams can leverage our AI to prepare, manage, and publish international submissions smarter and faster. If you'd like to learn more or have any specific questions about your business needs, we'd be happy to schedule a call to discuss further. I know in the past we've had clients do that, but we can certainly add the link. My other colleague, Gay, can add the link to so that you can schedule a call with us if you prefer to talk about Reg Intel and how to stay up to date on regulatory changes. Well, before I hand this over to Apurva, I'd like to turn our attention to our attendees. Thank you once again for joining us. At the end of this meeting, we will hold a brief Q&A. We encourage your participation. There's a chat button on your screen. In the interest of time, please submit your questions throughout our talk, and we'll try our best to address as many of your questions as possible. In case we run out of time, no concerns. You can email us your questions and we'll try to address them as well via email. Now, what I do want to say is that this is a roundup, so we're not going to dive into detail of every single update, but this is a global worldwide update for you. And this is not all inclusive of everything that happened. This was just, again, us highlighting some things and updates that we felt were important. We will share this deck with you after this call, either this week or by next week. You'll certainly have this. You don't have to worry about taking notes. Again, we will share this presentation with you. And if you ever have any ideas of any future topics that you'd like for us to cover, please send us that list. We are always taking your feedback into consideration and would love to add those for our next year's lineup of webinars. Well, Apurva, thank you so much for creating this presentation and presenting it for our attendees, and I'll hand this over to you.
Thank you so much, Priya. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining this webinar today. And my name is Apurva Kushare. I work as a regulatory affairs specialist lead at RegDesk, and I'm really excited to walk you all through the most recent regulatory updates that have shaped our industry in the year 2024. So today I will be covering all the major important updates and regulatory changes that we have captured globally for about 124 countries. So before further, let's dive straight into these alerts. I'll just share my screen. Yes, so as you can see, here are some top alerts from 2024, and these are some markets that we have identified as the most active markets, and they have released some noteworthy important alerts in the year 2024, beginning January until December. So let's talk about first alerts from Malaysia. So Malaysia released an update on February 1st, 2024. So this is a guidance document on post-market information exchange for ASEAN members. So this guidance document was basically prepared by the Medical Device Authority. It is basically created to help the industry and healthcare professionals in their quest to basically comply with the Medical Device Act of 737 and all the regulations under this act. The development of this guidance on medical device post-market information exchange from the ASEAN member states was actively worked towards by Malaysia and also as a member state of ASEAN. So this guidance document provides an exchange of information on post-market information among the AMS, which is the ASEAN member states. So this was a key update regarding Malaysia. And there was another alert that was released on 5th of June 2024. So this is regarding implementation of the use of electronic establishment license certificate, which began on June 5th of 2024. So the Medical Device Authority of Malaysia announced that the implementation of electronic establishment license it had basically started on June 5th of 2024. And once the application is completed and the license fee is paid, the establishment can be downloaded and the license from the link that has been shown here on the PowerPoint presentation. In addition to this, the authority will also uh, said that they'll issue establishment license certificates, which can be collected from the MDA office itself after 7 working days. So this is one important alert from Malaysia. Now, moving on to United Kingdom, there was a significant guidance document that was released on software and AI as a medical devices. MHRA basically updated a guidance document on digital health technology. In UK, like many of these products are regulated as medical devices, but this guidance specifically provides access to important software group outputs that might be of assistance. And also, in addition to this, MHRA, US FDA, and also Health Canada has jointly worked together and they have identified 10 guiding principles that can inform the development of good machine learning practices. MHRA, FDA, and Health Canada, they have also jointly collaborated and worked together on drafting these 5 guiding principles on use of predetermined change control plans, that is PCCP. And these principles will basically help to ensure that our future guidance on PCCPs align with the international regulations and requirements. Um, Moving on to the next, we have an important alert from Indonesia. So this was released on 7th May of 2024. And it's basically talks about announcement of the implementation of CDA-KB certificate as a condition of marketing authorization. So starting from July 1st, 2024, medical device distributors in Indonesia must have this certification to operate. The Ministry of Health will be conducting a socialized program on which was already conducted and implemented from May 1st to June 30 of 2024. And it was also available to be accessed on their website. So this uh, yeah. So this was about Indonesia. And then moving on to country US, on May 10th, 2024, USA released a guidance document on remanufacturing of medical devices. So this is the final document that they have released, and this document aims to clarify whether the activities performed on a device are considered remanufacturing. It also provides some recommendation for information that should be included in labeling to ensure that the continued quality, safety, and efficacy of the devices that are intended to be served over there is basically served in this guidance document. This guidance document also clarifies the existing regulatory requirements for the manufacturers. The guidance has some important guiding principles to help determine whether activities are remanufacturing. It also highlights some relevant considerations to determine if activities are remanufacturing. So remanufacturing is basically the processing, conditioning, renovating, repackaging, restoring, or any other act which is done to a finished device that significantly changes the finished device performance or safety specifications or its intended use. So I think this guidance can be really beneficial to all the manufacturers. And also FDA has generally considers a significant change to a device performance or safety specification to be based on the verification and validation testing and also the risk-based assessment and also the results in the finished devices. So this is one of the key updates that we have received from the US. And then we also have an update on E-Star program, which was published on 26th of June, 2024. US FDA has released an updated E-Star PDF template version for non-in vitro diagnostics and also in vitro diagnostic and early submission requests. So the update includes like for non-IVD and IVD products. Um, and also the environment of use subsection in the wireless technology section was also removed from this, and it was redundant with content in the cybersecurity section. So these are some modifications that have been made in terms of these eStar PDF templates. And also another news is regarding the 510(k) third-party review program and third-party emergency use review. So this guidance outlines FDA's current thinking on key aspects of the 510(k) third-party review program and also the review of the EUA, which is the emergency use authorization requests, by describing FDA's expectation for the review of 510(k) submission and EUA requests by the third-party review organizations. Uh, then we also have a noteworthy update that was published on 3rd December 2024 regarding marketing submission recommendations for a predetermined change control plan for AI-enabled devices and especially the software functions. So FDA has issued this guidance to provide recommendations for PCCBs tailoring to AI-enabled medical devices. So the recommendation in this guidance are intended to support iterative improvement through modifications to the AI-enabled devices, which while continuing to provide a reasonable assurance of device safety and effectiveness. Moving on to the MENA region. So we have an important update from Saudi Arabia. This is a draft guidance. It's not a final version, but they have released a draft guidance on combination products classification. So this guidance provides definition of combination products, and it intends to guide applicants on the classification criteria of combination products to provide information on the regulatory framework for dealing with combination product submission. This guidance pertains to combination products as defined in the definition section of this document. It also describes the criteria of classification of such products. If the company is unable to identify the classification of their products, they could basically submit a classification request along with the required documentation, the supporting documentation through the electronic portal system, which is EPCS. It is also important to note that SFDA reserves the right to question any information, material, or defined condition which is not specifically described in any of your documents. So, in order to allow the authority to basically make a sound decision on the documents that you have submitted. And we also have a few updates around requirements for transporting and storage of medical devices. So the purpose of this document, this guidance document, is to specify and clarify the requirements for the storage and transportation of medical devices. That also applies to manufacturers, the authorized representatives, importers, distributors, and also the warehouse of medical devices. Um, so, and then we have another update that was published on 27th of October 2024, which it's the guidance of innovative medical devices. The purpose of this guidance is to specify the designation criteria for the innovative medical devices. any associated review processes, and the features of the pathway to outline the requirements for applying through the innovative device pathways. And all the details of what is the innovative medical devices are provided in this guidance document. And we have also provided link to the actual guidances. So once we share the PowerPoint presentation with you, you can go through all the guidance documents in detail. Moving on to one of the biggest and the most active regions is China. There were some significant updates in relation to in vitro diagnostic reagent classification catalog. So there have been like in order to implement the requirements of the uh, for the in vitro reagents, China has basically the NMPA has revised the sub catalog of in vitro diagnostic reagent classification, and based on the measures for the registration and filing management of in vitro diagnostic. And this announcement on the release of in vitro diagnostic classification rule was done on 11th of May 2024. So they have basically revised the in vitro diagnostic reagent classification catalog, and this document has officially been released by NMPA. So you can go through the details of this in the link below. Then we also have another important update from NMPA. It's a notification regarding the standardization of medical device product classification identification. So for newly developed medical device, not yet included in the medical device classification catalog that I previously mentioned, applicants may directly apply for Class 3 medical device product registration in that scenario. And alternatively, they can identify the product category according to the classification rules applied to the identification, and they can proceed with the product registration or filing based on that. For the classification identification of newly developed medical devices not listed in the classification catalog, applicants can submit the necessary information to the Medical Device Standards Management Center. You can make a note of it, of the NMPA through the classification identification information system. Um, and also, NMPA has released 48 new guidelines for medical device registration review. On May 27, 2024, the Center of Medical Device Evaluation, that is CMDE, of the National Medical Products Administration, that is NMPA, released 48 new guidelines on the registration review of various medical devices. It includes like electronic photography beds as well. So this guidelines basically covers a wide range of medical device categories, and ranging from device equipments, therapeutic devices, any auxiliary equipments, any in vitro diagnostic reagents, etc. So these guidelines aim to standardize the registration process. It also enhances the industry standards and ensure that the safety and effectiveness of medical devices is addressed. So the detailed guidelines for specific devices, including the medical gas alarms, then we have air oxygen blenders, radiotherapy, laser positioning devices, and various other testing reagents are provided to support manufacturers in meeting regulatory standards. So this is another noteworthy update, especially for any product-specific requirements. Moving on to India, also on 16th of May 2024, regulations of all Class C and D medical devices under licensing regime. So there was an update for Class C and D medical devices. So they released a circular regarding the licensing requirements for Class C and D medical devices. The circular clarifies that applications submitted by manufacturers and importers on or before September 30, 2023 will be considered valid. They can continue to import or manufacture the device for up to 3 months from the date of this order or until the CDSCO makes a decision on their application. So this is an important update for manufacturers of Class C and D medical devices. And they have also published a guidance a notice on testing and evaluation of medical devices and IVDs by medical device testing laboratories in the country. So the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of India, they have mandated testing of medical devices and in vitro diagnostics by registering labs as per the medical devices, the rule of 2017. So they have emphasized on some of these, the BIS, the ISO, IEC, or the manufacturer standards for quality, safety, and performance. Then we have an important update from New Zealand. This market is, they do not actively regulate medical devices, but we have come across one important update on guidelines on the regulations of therapeutic products in New Zealand. It's basically an overview of regulations of therapeutic products, and that includes medical devices. So they recently updated the 2.0 version of their guideline on regulations on therapeutic products. And the revised format, they have basically updated some organizational information and the replacement of mandatory standards for medical devices with the website link. This is an important update in terms of medical devices. And we also have a small update from Tanzania. So they have released on October 9th, they released a new guidelines on for control of medical devices and diagnostics. So they have crafted three new guidelines and six protocols for the control of medical devices and in vitro diagnostic devices. We also have an update on Mongolia. So they revised their medicines and medical device laws. This law, they have made several updates to topics related to production, export, import, supply, sales, storage, and also distribution of medical devices. Uh, we moving on to this the next country, it's Canada. They have published an important guidance on transparency of machine learning enabled medical devices. These are some guiding principles. They have jointly published, as I mentioned earlier. They have done a collaborative work with US FDA and also the UK's MHRA, and they have come up with the guiding principles on transparency for machine learning enabled devices. So these guiding principles, they aim to promote international harmonization, and they try to emphasize the significance of considering transparency through the life cycle of machine learning enabled medical devices. Uh, Coming to the next market, European Union, it's an active market, and we have some key alerts from European Union. And one is in regards to phthalates in certain medical devices, and they have basically updated sheer guidelines published. So phthalates are becoming really popular recently because of their endocrine disrupting ability, and it's kind of an harmful chemical that is used in many of the medical devices. So they have come up with the guideline, and they basically describe the methodology for performing a benefit risk assessment, and basically justifying the endocrine disrupting phthalates in medical devices, and parts or the materials that are used, and in how much percentage is this chemical used in some of these devices. This guidance provides, it's a long guidance, and it provides all the details on how to do the testing. And this was basically requested to provide an update of the guideline on benefit risk assessment, and also in terms of all the phthalates. So these are some critical updates on this guidance document. Then we have another guidance on qualification of in vitro diagnostic medical devices. So the purpose of this guidance document is to clarify what products fall under the scope of Regulation 2017-746 on the in vitro diagnostic devices, which is the IVDR. And also they are referring to as qualification as an in vitro diagnostic or any accessories to an IVD. So this is a new guidance that they have released in support to the IVDR that we have. Then another important alert is it's uh, it's regarding application of MDR requirements to the legacy devices and devices placed on the markets prior to May 2021. So this guidance document provides updated it's updated as regard to the applicability of MDR requirements to the legacy devices and old devices, taking into consideration the amendments of the MDR transitional provisions. Then we also have we have an update from Team NB. So they released a medical device AI questionnaire, which was jointly published by these two notified bodies like IGNB and Team NB. So this questionnaire was prepared in accordance with the MDGG 2022-14. It is to be understood in the context of the MDR and IVDR regulations as well as the MDCG guidances. So specific requirements of the AI regulations have not been considered and will be part of the comprehensive revision, which we can expect probably, I don't know when, probably in the next year. Yeah, as there is a lot of differences in the AI, the EU AI Act, and also the EU MDR regulations. So they are trying to answer some of those questions to uh, fill in this the current scenario regarding the AI regulations and the medical device regulations. And then we have an alert from Australia. This is regarding medical device regulation changes. So TGA has announced changes to medical device regulations that took into effect on June 15, 2025. This is one of the critical changes that they have made to the regulations. So they pertain to software-based devices and prescription spectacle lenses. Additionally, further changes are scheduled. They were scheduled to take into effect on July 1st, 2024 for devices that contain microbial, recombinant, and animal-based substances, as well as for the medical device application audits. The key updates include reclassification requirements for certain substances and the limitation of mandatory audit to high-risk devices. So these are some critical changes that they have made to the MDR, their medical device regulation. We have an update from Egypt. They released a regulatory guide for licensing facilities for integrated management of medical device waste. So there is a lot of changes and updates that are taking place in terms of waste management, and this topic is becoming very popular and it's growing a lot of interest. Many people are growing interest in waste management. So they have established a system and procedure regarding the licensing for facilities for the integrated management of waste of medical devices and supplies inside and outside institution and also the pharmaceutical facilities. So these also include medical device waste requirements. Then we have another important guidance that was released in South Korea regarding minor change reporting for medical devices. This guidance updates reporting of minor changes for medical devices, including examples, the pre-submission consultation process, and what are the documents required in order for you to make, if you have made any minor changes to your medical devices. It also clarifies eligible changes and incorporates revisions to the regulations on approval, notification, and review of medical devices and all the related regulations. And there was also an important guidance document on cybersecurity in medical device approval and review that was released, published on 27th of November 2024. This guidance provides key principles and requirements for cybersecurity in medical devices to ensure patient safety and data protection. It also emphasizes the importance of considering availability, confidentiality, and integrity throughout the medical device lifecycle for any pre-market to post-market requirements. And there was also an important alert, a regulation on labeling and marking of medical device requirements in South Korea. So they have amended and simplified the manufacturer's address labeling requirements by allowing only the primary address, that is the contactable and accessible, to be listed on medical device packaging. It also updates terminology to reflect current regulations, changing website references to the electronic medical device system, and incorporating sign language, video conversation code, and sign language terms. So these are some key updates. So we also have some updates from the Africa region. We have one from Nigeria. The Nigerian Health Authority has released good manufacturing practice for medical devices and related products regulation this year, 2024. It provides regulatory framework for the required minimum good manufacturing practices for medical devices. Also, it includes in vitro diagnostic devices and related products manufactured, if either they are imported, they are exported, advertised, sold, or either displayed for sale, distributed, or used in Nigeria. So this is another important update from one of the African regions. Then we also have several updates that we came across in Hong Kong. A number of technical references have been updated and they are effective immediately. So there have been updates to their guidance documents on technical references on classification of medical devices, that is the TR003. Also, the another technical reference guidance document on classification of in vitro diagnostic devices, and also there has been an update on the technical references on artificial intelligence as medical devices. Uh, so we also capture updates from the EU member states, which is their local health agency. So we have an update from Lithuania that was published on 21st of June 2024. This is regarding instructions for use of medical devices. And the requirement is are not only in Lithuanian. So basically, as of June 21, medical devices in Lithuania can now be marketed and used with instructions in English due to the new health system regulations. So I think this is one of the key changes that they have made in terms of instructions for use, and it's important to take a note of this update. And we also have another update from Greece. They have published, which was published on 3rd of December 2024. It's regarding notice on the mandatory use of the UDAMED. So following the announcement, the agency has informed that the document Q&A on the gradual rollout of UDAMED, that is revision 1, which was in November 2024, addresses the gradual implementation of the UDAMED and the transition periods for its mandatory use. This is also another important alert that can be really beneficial for all the manufacturers. And this coming to an end, we can expect these are some alerts that we can expect in the year 2025. So in Portugal, there is a public consultation that is underway, and it's triggered by the IMDRF group. And we can expect a guidance document on good machine learning practices for medical device development. And we can expect a similar guiding principles that we have seen in the health US FDA, Health Canada, and also UK, that they have published the 10 guiding principles. So we can see a similar trend coming up from Portugal. And also in European Union, there will be two significant changes that are about to happen in the year 2025. This is the battery directives. The current directives would be repealed in 2025 with the new battery regulations. So we can expect new updated information on the batteries that are being regulated. And also an important update on the EUMDR. So according to the current EUMDR timeline, the final deadline for transition from the medical device, the MDD, to MDR is May 26, 2025. This means that all medical devices placed on the market after this date must comply with the MDR regulations, with the possibility of the sell-off period for existing MDD certified devices. until stock is depleted. So this is one of the key information, a key update that we can expect in 2025. And we also have an upcoming webinar, so don't forget to join on January 22nd at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Apurva. There was one question, which is the question is, are the guidelines and the links available in English?
For some of the countries where the agency releases English, we do provide English version of those documents, but sometimes it can be in the local language because the agencies don't necessarily publish the English version of all their guidances.
Okay. Perfect. And once again, I know we went over of our time by a few minutes, but thank you for staying back. We will share the presentation slides for sure, and we'll try to give you these types of summaries throughout next year as well. And have a great holiday, everyone. Enjoy with your families, and please continue to join us in our webinars next year. Thanks again, Apurva. Bye,
Thank you so
everyone.
much. Thank you, everyone.